54 News at 6. I'm Kenesha Dees. While the basketball court is empty, a flurry of activity in Alabama's legal court and a battle to figure out what schools can compete in the boys' state tournament. At the heart of it all, the Oakwood Adventist Academy boys basketball team, top ranked in its division, but barred from the playoffs because it scheduled too many games this season. We told you yesterday the Alabama High School Athletic Association sanctioned the school last week for that rules violation. And since then, conflicting orders from judges in Montgomery and Jackson counties forced the hand of the AHSAA, which said it had no choice but to postpone the 1A Area 16 game until a higher court could settle the matter. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman has the latest.
The Oakwood Adventist Academy boys basketball season remains in the air, and one attorney representing the school says time is of the essence. In court documents obtained by Fox 54, the Alabama High School Athletic Association filed an appeal that would essentially throw out conflicting temporary restraining orders and allow the AHSAA to decide who would play. A judge has not made a decision on the matter as of Wednesday afternoon. We spoke to an attorney representing Oakwood Adventist who explains the argument the school is making.
The rules that the AHSAA enforces, the handbook, expressly limits the punishment for an institution that uses an ineligible player, in this case someone who played in more than 30 games. Students who play while ineligible have a prospective punishment, and they need to sit out future games. So what happened is we only had 2 students who played in more than 30 games, and so the punishment should have been that the 2 students had to sit out for the playoff game instead of the whole entire school.
In a statement late Wednesday afternoon, AHSAA Executive Director Heath Harmon says there has been no judicial resolution regarding Oakwood Adventist Academy and the Class 1A Area 16 boys basketball tournament, which remains postponed pending further court review. In Huntsville, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Earlier today, a motion and proposed order were filed in the Montgomery County Circuit Court asking that the AHSAA be authorized to reinstate Oakwood. That preceded the filing with the Higher Appeals Court. To learn more on all the developments, go to fox54.com. Well, a few clouds couldn't keep the sun from shining today. Later on in the afternoon, we saw plenty of blue skies, some stray clouds still there, but nonetheless, much of this day was quite beautiful, quite cool as well. But day has turned to night. Joining us this evening is Fox 54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Jordan, the sun came back and with cooler temps.
Yeah, the sun definitely did return across the Tennessee Valley after a morning of cloud cover and a little bit of rain. But you're right, it was cooler this afternoon. Temperatures only climbed into the upper 50s and lower 60s. Really nice night out over the Parkway. We're looking southbound on Memorial Parkway. The sky relatively clear this evening. It's going to be difficult to find much in the way of any cloud cover, but that's going to allow our temperatures to fall off somewhat quickly. We've already fallen off about 4 or 5 degrees over the last 15 or 20 minutes or so. 51 degrees both Pulaski and Fayetteville, 53 in Athens, sitting at 54 degrees over in Florence, 56 in Scottsboro, 54 in Fort Payne. Huntsville International sitting at 51 degrees. When it's all said and done, it looks like we're going to drop off into the lower 30s as we head into the overnight. I've got a low temperature right around 34 degrees. You've probably been able to give your heater a bit of a break over the last couple of nights. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight, but I do, however, think you'll be able to turn it off as we head into your Thursday afternoon. We'll talk about that and the additional rain I have in the forecast here in a few minutes.
We've learned a Florida man indicted on multiple charges of sexual abuse and indecent exposure in Lauderdale County. Here's what we know so far. According to court records, Jason Bragg faces charges of sexual abuse of a child under 12, sexual abuse, and indecent exposure. Bragg is held in the Lauderdale County Detention Center on a $65,500 bond. An investigation underway after a stabbing turned deadly in Huntsville. Police say officers were sent to the 4500 block of Bonnell Drive around 7 p.m. last night. Officers say they found 2 men with injuries. Authorities took both of them to the hospital where 51-year-old Roderick Carson later died from his injuries. HPD says the second man remains hospitalized in stable condition. A man behind bars facing possession of marijuana charges and resisting arrest after shooting in Hazel Green last night. The Madison County Sheriff's Office says deputies responded to the 2000 block of Charity Lane after reports of a shooting. Deputies say Connor Forrester accidentally fired a gun, hitting his girlfriend in the stomach. During the investigation, drugs were allegedly found inside the home. The victim was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Huntsville City Schools moving forward with installing cameras in resource classrooms. The cameras will record video and audio in classrooms primarily serving students receiving special education services. This also includes attached rooms such as sensory or calm down areas. Officials say access to recordings is limited and recordings will only be reviewed if an incident is reported. For more information, go to FOX54.com. If your child attends Madison County schools, listen up. The district moving all classes online Friday. Officials say the move will protect the health of students and staff as widespread illnesses affect multiple school communities. Teachers are available remotely during regular school hours, and families will get specific schedules and assignments directly from their schools. In-person classes will resume Tuesday after the President's Day holiday. Huntsville City Council preparing to take a major step toward finalizing what officials describe as the largest economic development project in Alabama history. Back in December, Eli Lilly and Company announced plans for a $6 billion investment in the region, with the facility at the northeast corner of I-565 and Greenbrier Parkway expected to create nearly 450 full-time jobs. Tomorrow, the Huntsville City Council will consider an agreement to provide land for the project, along with funding for workforce training and related development costs. The council will also reserve additional property for possible future expansion. The council will meet at council chambers at City Hall tomorrow at 5:30. Several Alabama cities are withdrawing a legal challenge against the state's handling of simplified seller's use tax. In December, multiple cities, including Madison, announced a lawsuit over how taxes applied to online retailers are distributed. Today, Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox says the lawsuit is being withdrawn in an effort to work collaboratively with the Alabama legislature. According to Mountain Brook City Manager Stephen Boone, negotiations with the legislature have already begun. A new bill in the Alabama House and Senate would remove your ability to vote for members of the Public Service Commission, an oversight committee that regulates monopolies on local utilities. But the bills are leading to some concerned citizens. Candidates for this year's midterm elections also voicing their problems with the bills to Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo, saying the appointment of PSC commissioners would enable public corruption.
Two bills in the state legislature are deciding the fate of the Public Service Commission, which oversees major utility companies here in Alabama. If they pass, the positions would be appointed, which critics say would undermine public accountability. A House committee yesterday approved House Bill 392 without change, sending it to the entire House for consideration. It's also followed by a companion bill in the state Senate, SB 268. Both bills would need to pass the House and Senate before the final version can make its way to the governor's desk. If just one fails, both bills will be killed entirely. But the prospect of the bill's passage has several people across the state concerned about the integrity of the Public Service Commission. They say Alabama already has some of the highest utility bills in the nation. An appointment system could lead to lobbying, which could see your utility bill go up without regulation. One concerned citizen who ran for the PSC just 4 years ago tells Fox 54 it's a gateway for utility companies to get the people they want into positions that directly oversee their operations.
They would be able to give money to the governor. They would be able to give money to the House Majority Leader, the House Speaker, the Senate President Pro Tem, the very people who will be appointing the positions of the Public Service Commission if it gets to that. To me, that's almost like legalizing public corruption.
It's still unclear whether the bills will actually take effect. If they do, McLam fears utilities will go up for everyone under local monopolies, but he adds that wouldn't affect those who get their power from the federal TVA here in North Alabama. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
If passed, the bill's impact wouldn't affect every Alabamian, but it would bring big changes for the southern half of the state. Learn more on fox54.com. The Tennessee Valley Authority announced today they're withdrawing plans to retire coal-fired units at 2 power plants. The TVA board approved the new proposals that will keep coal-burning units at the utility's Kingston and Cumberland fossil plants operating beyond 2028, reversing plans to phase out the aging coal infrastructure at both Tennessee facilities. The reversal also scraps plans to add a solar facility at the Kingston plant, though the utility will move forward with planned natural gas units at both sites. Arizona authorities have released a man who they questioned about the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, was reported missing from her Arizona home February 1st. Authorities detained a man yesterday during a traffic stop south of Tucson, just hours after the FBI released doorbell camera footage from outside Guthrie's front door the night she disappeared. The man identified himself only as Carlos, says he was shocked when agents told him he was being detained.
Got off the car and they arrested me as soon as I got out the car. They didn't even tell me what was going on until the detectives got here like 2 hours before I got arrested. And then the detectives got here. It was the FBI agent in Santa Cruz County. And they told me I was being detained for kidnapping. And I told them I work in Tucson for GLS. I might have delivered a package to your house, but I never kidnapped anybody.
Carlos is not facing any charges. Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts remain unknown. Agents now searching multiple roads in the Catalina foothills near Guthrie's home.
The heart's been stunned and it's weak, so the tip of the heart may not be working at all.
A broken heart is a physically real symptom we experience, and Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell explains the science behind it this Wellness Wednesday. And while a broken heart is a real thing, here's something to melt your heart. Love letters between a soldier and his sweetheart. What was written just ahead. And looking ahead on Fox 54, we're celebrating Black History Month with a special full of stories of Black excellence. It's airing this upcoming Monday at 5 and 10 p.m. And it'll be available to watch anytime right here on Fox 54 Plus.
Now, Wellness Wednesday on Fox 54 News, sponsored by Regenesis.
We often dismiss the pain of a broken heart as something that just needs time and a box of tissues. But medical professionals warn that the stress of grief can actually alter the shape of your heart. It's called broken heart syndrome, and while the name sounds poetic, the physical reality is anything but. Logan Alexandra Russell explains the scientific link between our emotions and our cardiovascular health this Wellness Wednesday.
It starts with a shock to the system, a phone call, a sudden loss, or an ending you never saw coming. But for some, the emotional pain can quickly transform into a physical emergency.
We literally go through this entire process and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm having a heartbreak and it physically hurts me. So not only are we experiencing a tad bit of grief and loss, we also are experiencing the physical symptoms associated with this major change.
That physical pain is what the Cleveland Clinic calls Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, or broken heart syndrome. While it mimics the chest pain and shortness of breath of a heart attack, there are no blocked arteries.
The heart's been stunned and it's weak, so the tip of the heart may not be working at all. It's sort of ballooned and it has the appearance of what they call Takotsubo, which is an octopus trap. So it just balloons out, so it doesn't contract. The good news is it's temporary. It usually goes away in 1 to 2 weeks and they're back to normal.
While doctors work to stabilize the heart muscle, mental health experts say the brain needs just as much attention. When the body becomes psychosomatic, the fear of the unknown can strain you.
We start to really analyze it, and that fear sets in and it starts to give us heart palpitations. And it's like, oh, I am dying on the inside because I don't know what happens next.
The Cleveland Clinic says that while this condition is rarely fatal, it's a wake-up call, a reminder that protecting your mental health isn't just about your mind, it's about protecting the engine that keeps you alive. In Huntsville, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
The Cleveland Clinic says if you experience sudden chest pain or fainting after a stressful event, don't wait. Go to the emergency room to ensure your heart is okay. And if you want to hear from more of the experts, we have extended interviews on Fox 54 Plus. Download on your TV, watch for free. We have a scam alert for you lovebirds out there. That next call, be careful next time you pick it up. State officials with a message. In the meantime, Jordan, is that sunshine going to stay?
Yeah, the sunshine is going to stick around for at least a little bit longer. We're going to maintain a dry sky for a couple of days, but more rain is in the forecast. We'll talk about it in just a minute.
Well, check this out. Hundreds of love letters between a World War II soldier and his sweetheart are now on display just in time for Valentine's Day. More than 200 letters you see here exchanged between World War II soldier William Raymond Whitaker and his sweetheart Jane Dean are now on display at the Nashville Public Library. There was a picture of them just there. The letters were found in a Nashville home that belonged to Dean and her siblings. Archivist Kelly Serco says while the letters are romantic, they give insight into what it was like to love during wartime.
It's more than just a love story. They give this in-the-moment perspective of what that's like and what it's like just navigating certain racial issues, certain gender issues, their work, the life of a soldier, all of these things. This is a very valuable collection in that respect, and we wanted it to be available so people could look at this from so many different perspectives.
Serco says that the library has not been able to find any living relatives of the couple and that most of what she knows about them is from their romantic exchange.
Now, the Tennessee Valley's certified most accurate forecast from the Fox 54 Weather Impact Team.
Ooh, some pretty clouds here and there, mostly blue in the backdrop. I can appreciate it. It almost looks like a little paintbrush.
It does, doesn't
Wisp
it?
across the sky,
Looks like Bob Ross just had a grand old time, told us to paint our own happy little scene because there are no mistakes.
Oh my gosh, you just like triggered a childhood memory after watching a PBS show. There's Bob Ross.
You know, I believe it's still on the Netflixes.
And I have Netflix.
Ah, see, you could go home and you could binge Bob Ross if you really wanted to and really bring back the core of childhood.
Yes, art, all that good stuff.
Now, if only they would go ahead and bring Mr. Rogers onto one of the many social media or streaming platforms that exist. That would make me very happy if I could binge old episodes of Mr. Rogers, because that was always right up there with Bob Ross when it comes to things Jordan watched as a kid. Radar looks nice and quiet this evening on the heels of what was a fair amount of rain that we saw across the Tennessee Valley late last night and then early this morning. We also got rid of a lot of the cloud cover through the course of the afternoon. You saw that there just a second ago. We had plenty of sunshine during the back half of the day. We're going to maintain the sunshine as we head into your Thursday and Friday. Unfortunately, our next opportunity for rain comes at rather unideal timing. It moves in as we head into the weekend. Valentine's Day is, of course, on Saturday. Now, I am dropping the rain chance a little bit on Saturday. I'll show you that here in just a second. Increasing the rain chance a little bit on Sunday. And then it does look like we are going to stay dry Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Our next chance of rain is going to come from an area of low pressure, which by Saturday afternoon is going to be sitting firmly over the state of Oklahoma, but there's still a fair amount of rain ahead of that area of low pressure, and some of that is going to begin to develop across our neck of the woods as we head into the lunch hour on Saturday. But I don't think Saturday is going to be a complete and total washout. Heading into the early and middle part of the afternoon, many of us are going to be dry, but understand that a little bit of rain is going to be in the forecast, and this trend is going to kind of continue through the early and middle part of the evening, where there are going to be periods of dry time, but there's also going to be periods where we're talking about a little bit of rain, and this is going to kind of continue in some capacity as we head into the overnight early into your Sunday morning. Now, through the middle and later part of Sunday morning, the rain is going to become a little heavier and it's going to become a little more widespread. And then it's going to become most widespread late Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening as this cold front begins to push its way through North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. We're going to get some heavier rain here across North Alabama, some heavier rain with some embedded stronger thunderstorms across Central and South Alabama. That does not look like it's going to be any sort of a concern here across the Tennessee Valley. Live look out over the Parkway. We're certainly not talking about anything like that this evening. Sky relatively clear. Traffic seems to be moving smoothly. Temperatures beginning to fall off. 51 right now in Huntsville and in Arab and Coleman. 56 in Moulton, 56 in Florence, and a pair of 51s for both Pulaski and Fayetteville up in southern Middle Tennessee. Under a mostly clear sky, we drop into the 30s as we head into the overnight. A north wind certainly not going to help either. I've got a low temperature right around 34 degrees. Probably going to have to turn that heat back on tonight after getting to give it a break for the last couple of nights. Probably grab the heavier coat as you head out the door for work tomorrow morning as well. Kids are going to need that heavier coat at the bus stop. 35 at 7, 39 by 8, 44 at 9, 49 degrees by the time we get to 10 a.m., though with plenty of sunshine. Despite the fact that we're starting quite chilly, we actually do a pretty good job at warming up tomorrow afternoon. I've got a high temperature right around 58 degrees, which is above average for this time of year. Every single day in the 7-day forecast is actually above average. 61 on Friday, 61 for your Valentine's Day, even warmer on Sunday, but with the rain, 65. 65 Monday, 68 Tuesday. Look at that, 71 degrees by the time we get to next Wednesday.
We do have a scam alert ahead of Valentine's Day. The Alabama Securities Commission warning of an increase in romance scams. Scammers will build relationships based on love and trust and then exploit and manipulate victims for money. The ASC says you can protect yourself by being cautious of anyone who quickly confesses strong feelings for you, and never send money to someone you haven't met in person. Mo, what's going on with the Crimson Tide?
Well, right now they are looking to get win number 17 on the year as they take on Ole Miss. Coach Dayton Oates will hook us up with a last-minute preview next.
Fox 54 Sports is sponsored by Alpha Insurance.
Hey everybody, Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide have won 3 of their last 4, and tonight they look to add another check mark in that win column on the road at the Grove. The Crimson Tide are in Oxford tonight to take on Ole Miss. Alabama's high-powered offense, it'll be challenged because the Rebel squad, well, they only allow 72 points per game. Recently, Ole Miss received a spark from Elias Camardine, the native of France. He's definitely somebody that Nate Oates and the staff have kept an eye out on while scouting.
It's a good team that beat us here last year. We've got to make sure we're ready for them. They've got a multitude of players that are playing. The kid Camardine, played with JDA Dijon in France. It's the first tier France division. He's a pro that played a lot of years of professional basketball before he came over here. So he's good. He's been starting at the point for him. We've got to make sure we're ready.
Sticking with Alabama, the annual 8A spring football game has been set for April the 11th at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Last year, Caleb DeBoer and his team just going through another practice session and held an autograph session with the fans afterwards. It was a move to keep down injuries and the wear and tear. The event this year begins at 1 p.m. on that day. Also happening on April the 11th will be Alabama A&M's maroon and white spring football game. Sam Shade and company wrapping up spring drills inside of Lewis Crew Stadium. Last week, they signed 39 new players, with 30 of them already being on campus. And coming up tonight in sports at 9 p.m. on Fox 54, I'll have highlights of Alabama's game with Ole Miss. Plus, UNA will try to get a dub against West Georgia. Kanisha.
Yes, well, also coming up on Fox 54 News at 9, today marks the 11th day since Nancy Guthrie vanished from her Arizona home. The latest from this investigation ahead. Closer to home, a man behind bars in connection with the disappearance of a mother and her 2 children. The latest from the case of the missing theater family in Mobile. Back here in the Rocket City, a candidate for the Alabama House launching her campaign tonight. We'll meet the newest candidate for House District 5 tonight at 9.
Not a bad 7-day forecast, despite the fact that we are talking about a little bit of rain this weekend. Could put a bit of a damper on your Valentine's Day, but Saturday's not going to be a complete and total wash. Sunday, on the other hand, looks like it's going to be a bit different. Otherwise, every single day in the 7-day forecast is above average. The average high temperature for this time of year, right around 55 or 56 degrees. We'll be in the lower 70s by the time we get to next week.
Yeah, nice. I saw 71 at the end there. Wow.
Yes, the 70s will return. So